Elon Musk has maintained that it is totally a supply problem, not a demand one. I'm just wondering what you see kind of reading between the lines.
No. So there is no deal with Hertz, and there's not going to be a deal with Hertz. Hertz is just buying Tesla cars online. They have a team doing it now. They have cars that you can rent. They're running commercials on YouTube and full page ads in the paper advertising you can rent a Tesla. So they're buying cars. Now you can go on right now and try to buy a low end Model 3 and you just can't. They're sold out till next year sometime. So what we're seeing now is on the low end Teslas, they're all being bought by Hertz. And so you have to buy a long range model if you want to take delivery of a car. We're also seeing delivery of the Model X now, which we haven't seen all year. So with X and the Model S refresh now being delivered, plus higher margins on all their cars, plus all the advances they have with full self-driving, and the Gigafactory opening in Texas. I mean, how is Tesla not one of the most exciting companies in the world?
Ross, you talked about this amazing run coming in 2022. Can you expand a little bit more on what you see as being the catalyst here for this company in the next year?
So what we're having right now is making me super happy is the tipping point for EVs has happened. And we've seen it with the Rivian IPO. We've seen it with Lucid's now delivering cars and how the stock has done. And now with Polestar up $3 today, as people figured out this is a great electric car maker here with Polestar GGPI. So when you look at what Tesla's done is they've advanced sustainable transportation, which is their mission. And now the demand for EVs, even Ford's demand for the Mach-E is off the charts. And so like when you look at the demand for electric vehicles, while oil prices have soared and consumers are just getting gouged and complaining about inflation, which is all at the pump. And I'm like, you have a solution for inflation. It's an EV. So every Tesla is sold. And now we have the rental businesses going in and buying EVs. And what I've seen from the rental companies I've talked to is they're looking at buying every EV they can.
Let's bring in Jim Cramer for more. And Jim, I want to hear more about what you thought about the interview, more about the stock. But first and foremost, about the car itself, which you got to test drive, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as proficient a driver as I used to be, but I know how to go, let's say, 0 to 80 without breaking my neck like I almost did when we were at Englewood Cliffs. This is a beautiful car. It's a luxury and to some degree affordable sedan that is a race car.
And Jim, tell us more as well in terms of with the Investing Club, the subscribers to it, what you've been saying about the stock itself, because you can have a fabulous product, but the valuations are pretty steep at the moment.
They all are. I mean, look, we're all on the hunt for the next Tesla. I remember at other points in my career, we're on the hunt for the next Amgen. One point, we're on the hunt for the next United Health, for heaven's sake. But I will say this, Wolf. There is a belief that EV, electric vehicles, they're only 2.5% of our market. Why can't they can double and then double again? People want these. This is a attractively priced car at $70,000 that he thinks that Peter Rawlinson thinks can go down to $50,000. And ultimately, if we like Tesla and they got to 1 million, and Rivian, which could easily produce hundreds of thousands of vehicles that Amazon would take, I think there's also room for Lucid. It's what people want to buy in the actual marketplace, and it's what people want as a stock.
Rivian is just revving higher. It's at $172 a share now. Its market cap has passed Volkswagen now. That's the latest established automaker, I guess you should say automaker group that it has surpassed. And yet it barely registers revenue, at least right now. So I guess the question is it a situation where Tesla is the tide that lifts all boats for some of these names? And is it a situation around FOMO, or is it just the fact that really, truly, this is a huge opportunity, even if the valuation right now has some time to be caught up to?
I'm going to go with the first two, Morgan, which I think are incredibly insightful. I mean, look, could be the next Tesla, and you don't want to miss out on the next Tesla. So there's so much money in the stock market and so much money available to these companies that I think that you got to let them ride. I recommended Tesla probably, I don't know, about 800 points ago, and everyone said I had missed it. The comments on Twitter were so vicious. And you know what? I could have easily just said I missed it. But the fact was the opportunity was there. I think there's opportunity for more than 1 million car maker.
And by selling now, he avoids tax increases from Congress that, if they pass, could start on January 1st. So, Kelly, bottom line, he is selling to pay taxes, but he's selling even more, cash out of this stock and perhaps avoid higher taxes in the future.
You have a lot of demand, up to 70,000, and that's not a problem for you to make. But you have dreams, let's hopefully realities, of 500,000 in production?
Absolutely. We already have a factory scale for 34,000 units a year. As soon as we can get this quality parts to the line, we can spool that up. The factory is there and ready for 34,000 units per annum. We're quadrupling the size of that factory in Arizona. We're building out a 2.85 million square foot expansion to get ready to build 90,000 units per annum. And the site itself is, with its phase 3, capable of nearly 400,000 units per annum. And mid-decade, we plan to have plants in the Middle East and China as well.
Now, people tell me, wait, Jim, don't get too caught up in the Lucid, because the fact is it's such a crowded market. I look at the percentage of automobiles that are sold that are EV, and I say, well, that's really what we're talking about versus the rest.
I couldn't agree more. There isn't a market for EVs. There's a market for cars, Jim. Yes. And the penetration of EVs in that market is tiny, 2.5 to 4%. I'm looking at the other 96%. That's our market.
And a 30-year-old person who has some means or can borrow, do they want an internal combustion engine or do they want this?
They want this. They want race-bred technology and performance. This is a luxury car, a mileage in Grand Touring, but it's a beast of a sports car as well.
President and CEO of Advanced Auto Parts. Tom, you cite inflation as providing some headwinds. How are you feeling inflation?
Hey, well, good afternoon, Tyler. It's great to be back on. It's really across the board. We have commodity inflation on the products that we sell. You're seeing wage inflation in our stores and in our distribution centers, and obviously in the traffic and freight line. But the great news is, once again, expanded our margins pretty significantly, our gross margins by 240 basis points in the third quarter. And we've been pretty successful offsetting those inflationary trends with some of our internal initiatives, which we're very excited about.
What are those internal initiatives? In other words, how do you expand margins if your costs for labor, for content or product are rising and shipping?
Well, we have a pretty unique situation here at Advance. There's a couple of things. First of all, in terms of our own brand penetration or private label, we've been very successful at making transitions. We acquired the DieHard brand about a year and a half ago. It's been incredibly successful for us.
Tom, the market seems to be giving a vote of confidence to EVs being the future of transportation. And we know some of the leading automakers are trying to get parts per car down to like 100 from, I think, about 10,000 for a nice vehicle. So tell me how you think the business is going to evolve as the EV trend picks up.
Well, this is an exciting time to be in the automotive sector, as you say, Kelly. I mean, we've got a lot of activity going on. There's been a lot of technology changes that have happened over the years, and this is another one. And we intend to fully adapt to this change over time. We've got a great brand called DieHard, which we feel can play a role. There's a lot of things on an electric vehicle that we still sell today. They all have brakes, they all have wipers, they all need to be washed. But we will be evolving and repositioning our company over time to take advantage of this trend, because we have the scale to do that.